You know what we call this in the United States? God's ketchup, right there.
I've never heard that before. I think he just made it up.
Is this how the other half lives all the time?
One of those things just never happened.
When somebody rips one, you know it, and it's not yours. It was like Bugs Bunny when he like smelled the carrot soup.
That is the most random thing. What are you talking about?
It's impossible.
Presented by Price Leaks.
Overseasoned is here to explore all things culinary landscape. And you know what, Tony?
What?
I'm ready to say goodbye to...
Linen shirts in the tropics?
You know what I'm ready to say goodbye to?
Tell me.
Now that the world agrees it's time. I'm ready to say goodbye to slate plates. I fucking hated, will always hate, thought it was the worst idea ever. Can't tell you how many times a server with a cheese plate, with a fucking, a terrine or whatever, tried to drop off a plate without all of the different garnishes and things sliding around. I'm ready to say goodbye to slate plates.
Have you seen fewer slate plates out there in your travels?
I have seen them less lately.
It usually would be a charcuterie plate, cheese board. Where else do they happen? Which part of the meal and which kind of restaurant? Anybody who's trying to be modern?
Modern American restaurants certainly had their fill of the slate plate. And,
Do you think they all just finally chipped, went away? They just never replaced them because they all just kind of broke?
Dude, like...
Or was it a conscious decision to, like, move away from the slate plate?
I think it was a conscious decision to un-nomify themselves. There was a while there where, and it's still around, but I think now that everybody hates Noma.
You're equating your hatred of slate plates with Noma. Do people hate Noma? I know elements of this story that I think you're circling around.
Well, okay, let me just start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning. So, as a young Spaniard, at least, my father always was the proudest Ferran Adrià of anything.
Yeah.
And so, I think that for many years, Italian food, French food would often take the spotlight in terms of best cuisines. And it wasn't until Ferran Adrià came around that finally I feel like, at least
your father started to take notice of your culinary ishness?
I think my dad was just very proud of the fact that Spain started getting so much attention.
It's amazing that he even heard, like, how did he hear about it? Through you, I'm guessing?
About El Bulli and all that stuff? No, I think, when El Bulli became,
Bulli?
El Bulli, that's yeah.
Bulli?
Bulli or Bulli, yeah.
Bulli, okay.
It depends on...
Okay.
But anyway.
Catalan or how depends on which kind of ethnicity you're trying to evoke.
That's correct.
With that, you haven't decided which one you want to go.
I feel like Ferran says Bulli.
Bulli. Okay.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. El Bulli was like a thing in Spain, right?
Of course.
Like
They're everywhere. Did you ever get to go there?
I never got to go.
I had reservations to go because I was working on the cruise ship and we had this long layover-ish, whatever it was called, that was like an hour away, and I was working to get a reservation. I got a reservation, but couldn't pull together a ride back and forth to the ship.
Roses, which is probably like 2 hours or hour.
It was a ways,
Barcelona.
right? But I was just kind of shocked, and they were like so happy to host you and all this kind of stuff. It was
That's
great,
cool.
and I just wasn't able to go at the last minute.
Damn.
Yeah.
Are you a little bit sad you didn't get to go?
I'm still sad. Yeah.
That's a restaurant that I wish I would have had a chance to go to, and partially because it's one of those places. I mean, the actual place itself is just supposed to be like, it's like where Dali got inspiration from. It's that whole part of Costa Brava and all that stuff is just supposed to be.
Well,
gorgeous.
it'd be nice to go to the original too before everyone starts to pick over its bones and
exactly spherify everything.
Because that lasted way too long.
Dude, I mean,
airs.
still gel is around.
Right.
There's all kinds of shit that's still...
Transglutaminase,
Yep.
right? All that stuff. Was that him?
Yeah, the algae stuff.
It's all starting to mold together in my
Yeah.
old age.
Yeah, I certainly don't
Miss it?
identify with that type of food or...
Well, people can't
or
just
the
leave well. They can't leave it.
foams.
Just leave it there. They have to try to
Right.
emulate.
Well, and to that point, so, you know, for years and years, El Bulli was like the shining crown example of Spanish cuisine, and my dad, as a Spaniard, was very proud of it.
Castilian? Was that in
He's Catalan.
Catalan,
which is like the eastern portion of Spain, right? Barcelona down to like...
and they have their own language there.
right, so it's they have their own language, which is...
Dialect or language?
It's a language. So they say, I was watching, who are the people that study languages? A linguist, but
Sure.
not more than that, like an etymologist, linguist kind of person.
Okay.
And they were talking about how Galician, Castilian, Catalan, they all broke up when different peoples of Roman descent, or at least the languages themselves came from their Roman derivatives. It's not like Castilian Spanish came first and Catalan dove off of that or came off of that. They all kind of developed at their own time. Separately.
Interesting.
So they're their own languages. They're not dialects. And it's funny because Catalans are awesome, but they're very proud people. They have... and even though all Catalans essentially speak Spanish, they want to speak Catalan when they're amongst each other and with friends. I've been to many wineries and dinners and stuff where they know that there's other non-Catalan speakers there, and they'll just fucking rip in Catalan. And as a Spaniard that speaks Castilian Spanish, I can catch about 60%. But it sounds like there's a lot of French influence, or not French influence, but shared words from French. And there are a lot of shared words from Italian. And it's definitely its own thing.
Crazy.
It's pretty cool.
I can't say that I've ever heard it or know. I didn't know I was hearing it if I was hearing it.
It's funny because my dad's best friend growing up, this guy named Rafael Sendra, is Catalan. And Catalans have this accent. So they don't have the same pronunciations that a Castilian Spaniard would have, and now I realize that my dad's buddy Rafa had this. He has this way of pronouncing. He would call him Miguel, and like Catalans have a lot of this
Instead of Miguel,
but Miguel, like he has the he has the extra UE like emphasis. But anyway, so. That all being said, when El Bulli closed, the next restaurant that took the throne of supposed best restaurant according to Pana...
Didn't that, after El Bulli closed, didn't he open burger spots? Wasn't that his thing?
I think that was Noma.
No, El Bulli definitely opened I remember, this is going back, but I remember there was like an El Bulli burger thing.
Like a fast... he did do this movement called fast good.
Right, something like that.
Instead of fast food. Yeah. They've done all kinds of stuff. And his brother,
Now comes the
Albert
cash in.
Adrià. Yeah, exactly. His brother, Albert Adrià, has done some pretty cool stuff too. But, this is all to say that when a Nordic restaurant all of a sudden was crowned best restaurant, my automatic reaction was, fuck those guys. Right now, it was based in nothing. It was the fact that, I was just proud that Spain, even if it was in Catalonia, or it doesn't matter where it was in Spain, it was just cool that Spain was recognized as the best place for some restaurant. But even though I never got to go to El Bulli or any of that stuff.
You were proud.
I was proud, for sure. And it was like the only reason my dad was proud of restaurants.
That's
for
why
me.
this is...
Right.
There's
He's
a
like,
lot of
oh, you're a
deep stuff.
Spaniard. You're good at restaurants.
You can work in restaurants now because of El Bulli.
Because Ferran Adrià said it's okay. And so Noma comes around, right? And I remember thinking, I've not quite ever... I've never spent any time in any of the Nordic countries. I've heard really cool things about Copenhagen. And And of course, I mean, why wouldn't you want to explore like the food of another place?
Sure.
But just like with what happened at El Bulli, you know, where everybody's starting doing foam and they're making fucking spherification of everything, and you know, like everybody's buying all the fucking ingredients, and you know, it molecular cuisine just turns into this thing where it's like,
you know,
sure.
It's been a bit, but I feel like I was so into the classics.
Yeah.
You know, like, can you cook? Give me some classic French dishes.
Like a steak frite.
Sure, maybe a little bit more complex than that, but a bouillabaisse, something that like.
Sure.
Why I went into cooking was understanding how to make all those things. There was a formula to it.
Sure.
Right?
And traditions and
you could
styles.
do tradition style, but there was a formula to it. And when El Bulli started to come around, it was more about it became more like jazz than classical.
Yeah.
You know? And I felt like people were trying to play jazz before learning the classical.
I totally understand.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you had to like immerse yourself in the classics for long enough to be able to tweak and stuff.
Yes.
And I feel like those kinds of chefs and restaurants and experiences somewhat got left behind in the eyes of the media. Not necessarily. They were still popular. They were still like successful within our field.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But there became so much buzz surrounding this other things that people would take that upon, try to change their menus to be that style of cooking.
Yeah.
That many times wasn't necessarily the way to go.
It certainly had its moment. There was like it was 10 years.
Well, what I mean is like you'd go to restaurants and there wouldn't be memorable things there. There'd be things that were good, but ultimately very forgettable.
Sure.
It worked. You tasted it was okay. It was funky and weird sometimes.
It was going back to that thing where like it's like the technique was being done just
and there was food that was being different for the sake of being different.
Yeah.
And that's not really what I personally appreciate in going to a restaurant.
I agree.
You know?
No, I mean, trust me, I mean, I worked in the restaurants where, you know, the dude or the gal or whoever's got like a, you know, I can't tell you how many times we're like, they're working.
Foaming it up?
Yeah, they're trying to foam up a sauce with a scallop, with a this, with a that, and then it's breaking, and then, you know, you put it under the hood and it fucking flies off. Certainly El Bulli did plenty of interesting things.
Yeah.
Made a lot of sales for a lot of books and a lot of things.
Definitely very interesting. It was definitely very different for its time. Fun.
Yes, and certainly did its thing, right? So then Noma comes around, and Noma started doing its thing. And then the restaurants of the world started doing their thing, which is just copying a bunch of shit. And one of those things that came from that was fucking the slate plates.
We're back to the slate plates.
Dude, the slate plates drove me wild.
Like Crate and Barrel probably had more to do with the slate plates than Noma.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
Dude, I hated the slate plates, and I hated how awkwardly the service staff had to deal with these slate plates. But other things that have come around as a result of this whole Noma thing was the fermented everything.
Yes.
Everybody needs to pickle and ferment all kinds of shit. Now, it wasn't cool when Grandma Betty from Scranton, Pennsylvania was pickling fucking, you know, beets. But now, when San Pellegrino says
it's become a whole science.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And then moss, and then like, you know, these dishes that look like you're on mushrooms. You know what I mean? Like, you ever see? Well, you got to eat there, so let's.
I did. This is a long time ago. This must have been
10 years ago or so, right?
Way more than not way more than that, but more than that.
More than that. Okay.
I was living in Philly at the time. I remember.
Yes. So you went to Noma, and I remember you telling me about the experience, and I remember you telling me it was great.
It was great. It was really fun. The dishes were like playful. Like I remember, gosh, I wish I would have prepped a little bit for this, but I remember there was like a dish, like a plant in the middle of the table. There was like a planter or whatever. And like the third course, they just kind of pushed it closer to you.
Okay.
Like, this is the third course. And you would like eat like chocolate, whatever. It was like you pick the stuff out of the flower pot and you'd eat it, which is pretty cool.
I remember, so I know a couple people.
Everything was delicious. Nothing was weird. you know?
Yeah.
But everything was really great.
Well, listen, and I was waiting for reactions. I've had a couple friends, and you included, that went, and I've always heard really good things about the food, really good things about the experience, really good. What the thing that I thought was so cool, that has always stuck with me, was that the chefs would run the food.
Right.
Like the people who actually made the dishes would bring them out to your table, explain them, and I thought that was novel. I'd never seen that.
And it was cool. It was really cool.
Really cool,
Yeah.
right? And especially if like you're the one who's like, if you're doing the mise or the techniques or the prep and all that, and somebody asks you like, how is this made?
They made it.
They made it.
Right.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool. I remember you telling me about this boat they had. Do you kind of remember that? Like where like there was a boat where they would do like a bunch of testing.
Oh, it was an actual boat, not
Yeah.
like, yes, where they had like they were doing all kinds of testing and stuff.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of
and then
food sciencey things going on back there.
So off the top of my mind, so we've got all
But I
the
did get a tour of the kitchen, and I did see where they hit the lemons.
lemons.
They weren't supposed to have lemons,
Interesting.
right?
Got it.
Even the water was like tapped from some birch trees or something like that. I was
Really?
like, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, look, so now in the world, everybody, it's a very polarizing subject. I think 95% of people hate Noma now.
Uh-huh.
One, it's
No,
like,
but they just did that whole pop-up in LA, and I think that they just
it
kept
sold
going.
out in minutes.
Right.
It literally sold out in
It
minutes.
wasn't in like $1,050 or something. per
No. It
person.
was $1,500.
Yowza.
Yeah, it was expensive.
You know, things jump the shark.
They certainly
You
did.
know, and when you jump the shark,
The shark bites
the
back.
shark can bite back sometimes because it gets a little crazy.
Well, and then so,
Plus, wasn't there actual, like, it wasn't just psychological abuse? Wasn't there actually some hitting and
So
stuff?
this is what I've heard, right? Now look, I mean, so
Where are you going to go?
let's start with this.
Okay.
Have you ever worked in a restaurant that wasn't abusive? Let's start there. Like I think there's some sort of abuse that always happens in a restaurant.
I think that the business of restaurants is it's
abuse in
abusive to
itself.
make $1 in the restaurant industry, right? So it trickles down from there. It's like
Sure
profit,
does.
right? Right. So
Right.
it's business. The business will beat the shit out of you just as much as the fucking chef will. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So it's like, where does it really come from? But it's excel.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
And as in any abusive relationship, you don't really know what happened until you get out of it. You're like, what the fuck? How did that happen?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I could see chefs, like, or cooks, whatever, like reflecting upon it later in life, being like, that wasn't
What
okay.
happened? Yeah.
That was not okay.
Yeah, totally.
I sold everything and moved my family over to work at this restaurant
For
and-
free?
For free.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and then you bought into it so hard
Right.
that it had to be the way that things went. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Which we all did as cooks. Like, we all, like,
I think
suffered for the cause.
totally. I feel like for years and years and years, more in the back of the house than in the front of the house. Like, there's so much you have to buy in to even make it work.
Yeah.
Like
You have to, there's suffering, financial suffering,
financial suffering,
health suffering.
totally.
Right?
And think about, I mean, like looking back, I can't think of any chef or let's say any crafts person or lover of culinary that's worked in restaurants that hasn't made huge sacrifices to work in high-end restaurants. Like back in the day, like I feel like it was impossible to get jobs, and you had to show up early and do your prep for hours before you clocked in. Like the industry is changing, and people's boundaries are much more established, which is probably a good thing,
Yes.
right? But it's funny because like this whole thing came out about Noma, and some physical, some mental, and who knows how far it went or not. But I mean, I have fucking been, as a front of the house guy, I never worked in kitchens, but I've been fucking hazed. I've been
Oh, all of it.
all of it.
All of it.
Dude, I'll never forget. So, and there's all kinds of different shit, but hazing comes in a 1,000 different ways. But I remember that one time working as like a corporate restaurant like Capital Grill, it was the only time I ever closed a restaurant as a server. And this place was fucking busy. And, busy restaurants, they get messy. They just do, right? I mean...
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you're just getting your ass kicked all day, right? And, you're doing 500 covers for lunch, 500 covers for dinner, and it just becomes a fucking mayhem.
When you're pouring the soup out of the Cisco bag into the tureen, sometimes some spills out.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. When you're just a server who's responsible for turning on the soup station,
right,
and you crank it to 10 because it's going to come, service is coming in 10 minutes, and then you forget that it's supposed to be at 4, and then it scorches, shit happens.
Right.
Shit happens, right? But I remember, Are
we equating your time at Capital Grill to working at Noma right now? Is that
yes?
Is that how we're?
Well, I'm equating the hazing.
Okay.
Right. So.
Well, there's hazing, which is like on the team kind of thing, in a way, right? There's team hazing, which is like you think you're one of us. You got to
earn your way in.
Got to earn your way in, right?
Sure.
But this is like chef hazing.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, so
you're there working for free.
Well, right.
And you're getting screamed at.
Let's just start there. I think when you go into any restaurant and you're working for free, you've already bought in way beyond.
I've done it.
I know, but is staging even a thing anymore?
Is
it legal?
I don't know. It depends on where you are.
Definitely not in California.
Surely it's like, there's work experience all of for any field. Right,
yeah.
In which you work for free to get,
Yeah, but even for example, an apprenticeship as a plumber, I think you're still getting paid.
I can't speak too directly, but I know that.
Right, I know that each
you're
state
going
has
to school,
their labor
you
laws
get
and stuff.
You work.
I get it,
right?
But I'm saying I don't even know that staging, which was such a thing in the 70s, I don't think that staging is even a thing anymore.
I bet it is.
I
bet the next best restaurant in the world in wherever it is.
What is the best restaurant now? According to San Pellegrino.
I don't know. But I'm sure it's going to be somewhere else, and I'm sure people want to go there and work. There will be,
sure,
20-year-olds who want that kind of
work
experience.
Yeah. No.
There's something to be said for it, in an environment in which you're learning, you're getting paid in knowledge.
Yes.
Right? And then once you get proficient at that, it's time for you to get paid in cash. But who's being put out? Could you have a restaurant, you don't need 5 students there. Because it's harder to have students sometimes than it is to have.
Right.
So it's like you as the restaurant have to also provide them with that knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. It has to be a learning type environment.
Right. It's the Forrest Gump principle.
What's that?
So the Forrest Gump. Do you remember in Forrest Gump how that he was on the cusp and they weren't sure if they were going to let him into school, then they weren't sure if they were going to let him into the army. He was just on the edge, right? And obviously he defied all odds. Tom Hanks always fucking winning.
I never know where you're going to go with these things.
Well, the whole point of this is that at a certain IQ level, according to many studies, you're more of a detriment to the group than you are a help. And I think I was just equating that to the students who don't know what the fuck they're doing and just show up and are expecting to contribute somehow, and you're go pick herbs. And then you're go do this.
Yeah, but that's where you're doing the students the disservice. You have to train them. You have to explain to them. They're there for work experience, and that's the trade-off, right? You work for free, but you get something in return.
Yeah.
Something that's less tangible than a paycheck.
So, but this is all to say, I'm really interested to see if the rest of the world now has this blowback against Noma now that they're abusive and blah, blah. Well, not Noma, René Redzepi. Right?
I love that he was able to step back and still, still make the money. I'm sure. I just I see these things and I just kind of laugh a little bit. And,
and look, I'm not condoning.
I'm not going to headline this. I'll just take the percentage.
Dude, it's actually it's fantastic. Imagine getting in all this trouble online.
What? I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
you.
no.
But like they're going to do this. It was in Los Angeles, I believe.
It was in L.A.
Are they shipping all that? Are they shipping all the Nordic ingredients to Los Angeles? Like,
I don't
this is
know.
what I mean about jumping the shark. At some point of success, these things start to break down.
Yeah.
You know, like what are you doing in Los Angeles? Your whole thing is like Nordic cuisine from where's Copenhagen? Which
In Denmark.
country? In Denmark,
Right?
They speak Belgian,
They speak
Dutch there.
Dutch?
Yeah,
Isn't Dutch from Holland?
Flemish,
Danish, right?
Yeah,
Never been. I don't know.
Sure,
They speak English.
well,
You know?
probably most of the kitchen isn't Dutch. I would assume so. Copenhagen. See, you gotta give me I gotta do a little research before because, dude, I had a stroke. I forget some things.
Okay.
You gotta remember. You gotta be gentle with me sometimes.
No, this is gentle. This is gentle.
Okay.
Well, to me, I feel like I feel there's a part of me that's like the nostalgia of the old school restaurant is dying so fast.
Is it because we were talking about these places that were happening by on our travels? The
Okay.
place in Grotto that felt like it was like, okay, this is a restaurant.
The place
There's
in Atlanta.
identifiable things in the menu. I'm happy to be here. They're happy to have me. Things are great. Feel great.
Yes.
Capo that we went to that I was
that
taking
you
about
went
the
to in
last
LA.
one.
Yes.
You know, there's a handful of these places that just do such a good job at being a restaurant. These other
Yes.
places, they're once in a lifetime experience type. You're not going to go there
Yes.
once a week. You
It's
know
not
what I mean?
for dinner. It's for the show.
It's for the
And the
experience of
yeah.
it, right? And
Yeah.
It's different than just a restaurant. I've been trying to put these in a different class for 20 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a restaurant.
It's not a restaurant. It's like a museum.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a show. It's like an event.
And I notice online that a lot of our heroes, you know, the people who have gotten all these accolades in this press and have, you know, helped to establish what is like the dining scene, the global dining scene. I feel like there's this blowback happening now. Like now everybody's talking shit on Thomas Keller.
What? I gotta
the-
plug
the-
back in, man.
So the latest thing with Thomas Keller is like, so there. I'm going to speak around it the best I can because I don't pay too much attention. But you know, obviously, like I'll hop on my Instagram every once in a while, and it's just interesting to see what's out there, and you know,
got sucked
how
in.
many fucking
You got
video
sucked
I totally get sucked into the matrix sometimes, and it's just a way to unplug and my feed is like steaks, wine, and fucking a random video about olives. You know what I mean? Like it's all food stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, every so often, you know, the Noma thing just fucking came and went. It's like not many people are talking about it now. It's like the way the world is
good
now.
PR right there.
You're right. It's the Trump school of PR, right? But like, so that whole pop up came and went, and
It's gone now.
I think it's gone, and like I can only imagine like I feel bad for the people that bought in.
You mean the staff?
The staff. Like,
Yeah.
imagine the staff that's like, hey, I work at Noma now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always wanted to work with René Redzepi, and we're doing this thing in LA, and my family's coming out, and, you know, all the hard work I've put in, like, this is going to be such a great experience. And then it just fucking blows up in your face. And then the chef who, you know, is leading a movement in many ways. I mean, I can't tell you how many fucking times I've heard the word koji. Like, and koji obviously is like a Japanese sake,
Right.
you know, mold spore, whatever thing. But if it weren't
What
for
is it?
Noma, I think it's like a,
Mold sport?
I
What?
think it's a spore of some sort, like a whatever, like a fungus,
It's a fungus.
fungus among us.
Man,
right?
I used to be so on top of this shit.
I know it's hard to give a shit anymore. Like, just give me a.
No, I still give a shit, but it's just the newer things I'm getting to be
Well,
like.
dude, like lactic acid fermentation.
Sure.
Right?
Isn't that like we used to put chickens in? Oh, you know who I got this recipe from? What's the dude in Philadelphia, the studio kitchen?
Shola.
He puts whole chickens in the mozzarella brine.
In the way.
Whatever, the brine, right? And
Okay.
it's fantastic.
Well
You
done,
brine it with
Shola.
the mozzarella brine. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Is that what you're
is that
talking
Noma's
about?
fault? I'm just saying, like, everybody wants to emulate greatness so badly and be a part of, like, I don't know whatever PR company du jour tells you it's good, right? And
Well, it has to be good before, I mean,
it's not that it's
it's
not
it's an
great.
interesting, you know what I mean? It's taking aside the abuse that many restaurants have,
Yeah,
because it's an abusive business model.
it is.
Right?
It is. The whole thing is abusive, honestly.
We used to say there's like two kinds of ways you can get out of these things. You can like become that yourself, or realize it was wrong and go the other way. So
Which is what,
I
leave?
hope no, but you can operate a restaurant without being abusive,
No, of course you can.
right? But it's like if you're, growing up in it, so to speak, it's like it tends to be like that's how things are done.
Yeah,
That's how
no.
you get stuff done.
No,
and
for
certainly
sure.
it's a high pressure environment, man. It's tough.
It is tough. I mean, it's a business that you give all of yourself to,
Yeah.
to be successful in. And going back to, I mean, what is the line of abuse or not? Let me ask you this: is this abuse? Is this
Okay, here
abuse?
we go.
Right? Because
Yeah.
I know that. I wonder if by today's standards this is, because I don't know if it's abuse or not. But I remember looking back and thinking that was a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, big restaurant, 250 seats. It's the only time I've ever closed a restaurant. There's usually like 4 or 5 people that were crowned the closers. And the closers are always get like the last 10 tables. So that means I might serve 3 to 5 to 7 tables, let's call it, in an entire evening. And then the closers, the servers that close, they'll usually get like a whole last round of tables.
Was that desired or no?
It was desired because you essentially
tips.
you're going to do another 50% more in
Got it.
revenue than anybody else in the dining room. And part of your responsibilities are to, check side work and make sure that things are clean. And, this restaurant was a busy fucking restaurant, so I'm not going to say that the normal closers didn't do their job, but there was not attention to detail because it was the same people all the time. The checks and balances weren't there. It wasn't like let's call it like a fair audit, because the same guys and the same gals would always do the closing and make the extra money and blah, blah, blah.
They clicked up.
Yes, they clicked. Very well said. They were part of the click and they clicked up. One time I got a chance to close a restaurant. And this one time I got the new GM that had to prove himself that he was a hard ass, and he needed to let me know in this situation that, cutting corners isn't the new cowboys in town kind of thing, right? New sheriffs in town. Bro, and there must have been at least 15 to 20 side stations where you keep silverware, you keep plates, you keep side plates, you keep napkins, you keep, sugar caddies, all the shit that you need to run the dining room. And he made me pull out every side station this one night.
How many are there?
Like 15 of them.
15.
He made me pull out every side station.
What do you mean pull them out?
Dude, pull out, there's always like the silverware.
It's like a drawer? It was like a cabinet?
Pull that out. Pull out the linens. Pull out the glasses.
Like a month-end deep clean.
This
or
was like
weekend
this was like a
sweeping.
decade-end deep clean. Right? Because none of these other motherfuckers who closed the restaurant
Yeah.
had ever done this.
But there was some fresh meat.
But there was fresh meat,
Yeah.
and this GM, I know for a fact, was
They pull a new one in every 10 years to clean,
yes,
clean,
to do
clean
the
the
deep
place
clean,
up.
the decade
right.
clean.
Yeah.
Yes. So this was a decade end service station cleanup, and I had never closed the restaurant before, and I think I just, in this case, they might.
So you just come to a realization.
Holy shit. Yes, I think I just came to a realization. I think this is why they let me close. They're like, "X, you want to close tonight?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Sure. I'll take another 5 tables at the end of the night." And the thing about closing as a server is, a lot of times you'll start the table, take the order, get them going, and then halfway through you're like, "All right, I'm going to go home now." And then you just transfer the table over to the closer, and you end up with the tip on the table. because you're the one who's closing the restaurant. And
Wait. You end up with you left.
So let's say, for example, you get like a final turn in the restaurant, and let's say there's 15 tables between 9:30 and 10:30 that sit down for dinner. Each of the separate servers in many of these cases will start the table, get cocktails going, we'll special them, we'll take an order, and meanwhile, the expectation is that you start the table and get them going, the momentum's there, and then they'll say, you ever have a server come up to you?
Like he's going to be taking,
he'll be taking over the table, but essentially the idea is, well, they're closing the restaurant. They have to be here till the last table is here and the last food goes out and all that stuff. But I'm going to clean up now, and they get to keep that table, right? There's a lot of that.
Who gives the tip?
The closer, the person checking out the other servers.
Why would somebody want to get a table all up and going and ready? You get a 5-top, 6-top, 4-top, whatever.
It's not by choice. Sometimes it's like, hey, we're on closers, and everybody's like, all right, well,
that means
now.
Clock out and go home. It's like
it means finish your table and get out, right? And do your side work. But since the fucking closing servers are so busy because they have their own station and then all the last tables that are coming
So why would they not let you finish the table?
Because they're like, oh, well, we're on closers. Like it's like a unspoken rule, like that's mine now.
At a certain hour.
Yeah, at a certain hour, the closer gets to keep the last tables.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of thing, right?
Huh.
So anyway, they're like, you want to be closer tonight? I'm like, yeah. I've never been a closer before. Sure, I'll close. And I'm like, cool.
So you're just like sweeping up other people's
dude,
tips.
So you're taking over like the last few tables and you finish them.
You do dessert, whatever, and
right, and you're
happy,
expected
drop
you're
the
going
check,
to
and
finish
you get that tip if you're not
you
pooling.
get that tip. That's correct.
Wow.
Yes.
I'd be so pissed if I set up a table, did the whole song and dance, got
I've
them
done
all
it
going,
many times in my life.
and then it's like you don't even get that tip.
Yeah, well, in this case, I was like, cool, finally I get to be the closer.
Right.
Because that means I'm
You
going to...
suffered, you're going to make it, you get to this
I'm
point.
like, cool, yeah, like finally, like the young kid, I was like the youngest server and all that. I'm like, finally I get my chance to be the closer. And I'm realizing that they fucking did it on purpose. Joe Shiano, I know what you did. Jen Mack, I know what you did. Anyway, long story.
Because it was the night to clean.
Because the new GM.
The new GM.
Was closing that night. And GMs usually don't close. GMs might close once a week, right? They're usually there in the mid-shift because they want to be there for lunch and dinner service, blah, 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 blah.
During the meat of the day, right?
Yeah, and as a GM, normally it's like you've scaled the ranks enough to where you're not doing the openings, the closings, or the inventories. You're like administering and overseeing.
You're just making sure those things get done.
That's correct. And so they probably knew that he was going to be a hard ass, and they're like, let's have somebody else close. And I don't know if I did it as a favor or what happened because I never closed.
What was the restaurant?
Capitol Grill.
Okay.
And dude, so this night the GM is like, we're going to do a deep clean tonight. And I'm like, okay, well, what's that mean? And he literally says, pull out every side station. I want you to take this, which was the bread crumber. You know what I mean? The thing that you scraped. I want you to clean them all out. And dude, like, so I'm like, oh my God.
So that when you say pull out, you have a drawer of silverware.
So you have a drawer. You have a POS station, right? And then you have a drawer. And then under the drawer, in the drawer, there would be like a silverware caddy, and then there would be linens, and then there would be folded
all
napkins.
your accoutrement for like
all that stuff.
care of
There's
table.
sugar caddies. There's, cocktail forks. There's mise plates. There's ketchup bottles. There's big fucking, packs of napkins. There's, we had to write letters every night at the Capitol Grill. We had to write letters to people like, thank you for joining us this evening. It was a fantastic night, and I hope that you closed your deal.
And you mail them to them?
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Did it
There was
work? I'm sure it
Looking
worked.
back on it, I learned so much at the Capitol Grill, and those kinds of touches do go far.
Yeah.
But you had to write a couple letters a night. Part of it was to build rapport.
Sure. No, I can see how it could work.
And it was cool. And the idea was that if you got your business card from a table at a guest at a table, then you would address it to them. It's a nice touch.
Sure.
But when you're forced to do it, I started writing letters to my dad and shit. Like,
At least you use that time wisely.
Yeah, well, dude, because
I'm still doing good. Please accept me.
yeah, exactly. I ate all the shrimp tails tonight.
Off of other people's plates. Just to hide them. I don't even know why.
Dude, but you end up anyway. I learned quite a bit, but in this evening, is this hazing, dude? And I'm just asking.
Okay.
So I was told to clean every side station. And then I was given an example by the new GM of what cleaning the side station was. And he's like, I want you to pull out all the silverware. I want you to look through it and repolish it. I want you to wipe out the caddy. All right. So that times 15 was probably about 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
Then it's like, then I want you to pull all the stuff out. Dude, and like I started pulling stuff out, and there's business cards, there's wadded up fucking straw napkins, there's all kinds of like, there's all the kitchen printer paper and the receipt paper. You're organizing that. And then he's like, take your breadcrumber, and I want you to clean out every single drawer. And there's maybe 4 or 5 drawers for each of these side stations. There's 15 side stations, and now you're wiping down fucking Mies plates, and then he's checking it again. Dude, it took me 4 or 5 hours.
What? Wow.
To do the side stations and clean them out. And I remember being like, it's just like any other sadomasochist restaurant person. Like, oh, well, I'm going to clean the fuck out of these now. Mm-hmm. I'll show you. Right. And all I really did was make it spotless clean for those guys to then go back to their normal closing stations. And
mess it all up again.
Dude, and I remember I was there till like 2 or 3 in the morning that night, cleaning side stations, and it was certainly a hazing. And sure, it's like, let me show you what a real good close looks like, but it was hazing. Is that abusive or is that not abusive? What's your thought on that? I can only imagine what,
I mean, you were it was part of the work, you know what I mean? Only a front of the house guy thinks that like cleaning a station is like hazing. You know?
Well, dude, it's the equivalent of like, hey, you want to work broil tonight? Yeah, I'd love to work broil. And then it's like, all right, cool. Then you're going to run broil. But guess what? All the cleaning that has been done for the last fucking 5 years, you're going to do it tonight. And you're going to stay until 4 in the morning to clean.
Yeah.
Like, is that cool?
No, it's not
by
cool.
Yourself?
No, it's not cool.
Okay.
It's not cool. And I think there could have been a hazing element to it, but it's still cleaning the restaurant. It's not like cleaning something that's already been cleaned. You know what I mean? It's not like dig a hole, fill it up.
All right.
You know? It's not like clean it again, you know? I would be more mad, not at the general manager, but the people who are like,
that's why
they knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. Right?
They must have known.
Right.
They must have known.
It's a little masochistic to like make you clean 15 stations instead of 2 a night.
Right.
Right? And then keep it on an ongoing basis. Like, what was he trying to prove, you know?
Honestly, the right move would have been like, look, I'm closing tonight. I want to make sure it's tight. Place hasn't been cleaned in a while. I want you to make sure that this staff, as they're checked out,
right,
is doing the following things. Let me show you one, and you make sure the rest are done.
Yeah, because where did it go from there? You never wanted to close again.
Never again.
And they're still dirty. To this day,
I think I actually put my notice in a couple within weeks after that.
So they got some use out of you.
They sure did. Anyway, but I guess there's a fine line between. I guess I don't know what the lines are anymore.
Huh.
Right? And one thing is to lead with empathy and like do things the right way. And obviously, like I like a clean restaurant. I think it's important to show standards. I think all that stuff. But sometimes it's too much. And that night, like I said,
I remember hearing stories from like somebody who worked at Charlie Trotter that was like the cleaning was an intense and insane type of like these scrubbies for this surface,
yes,
these scrubbies for this surface. Everyone had their little, you know.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a long time. But
yeah. And look, I'm not bitching to say, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Well, it's wrong, you know, and I think that it's abusive, right? And you gotta understand how much abuse you personally are willing to take to learn the things from that person,
right,
or that place. There's a line for you. There's a line for everybody. Just understand what that is going into it, and once it gets up to that line, bug out for the dugout. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
Because there's always these abuses of some sort in any kind
Sure.
of very professional type of situation.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I haven't worked in a restaurant, like in a dining room. Jeez, man, it's been like 10 years.
We
Has
got
it
to
been
change
10
the name of
years?
this. It's not a restaurant podcast anymore. It's I can't remember why it used to happen type of restaurant
It's
podcast.
PTSD. Yeah, it is, and dude, I only imagine. It's I feel like it's a much harder. As crazy it is to say this, I feel like it's a much harder industry to work in now than it even was back then, because I feel like there's so much more pressure from staff, social media, from all these review websites. Like
It's certainly a different animal. It certainly is.
yes,
And like we've been kind of chatting about in this podcast and just around, and it's like it's restaurants have to get more expensive in order to accommodate all these various things that are happening to them,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, this is all to say that, thank God the slate plates are over. maybe the koji thing can chill out for a minute. The lacto fermented thing can chill out for a minute. The lichen, the lichen dishes can be
Well,
done
it's
now.
at a certain point, once you've pushed the envelope, you got to keep pushing the envelope. That's what I mean about it. Gets to a point where it becomes what are you going to do next? Like you have to keep pushing the envelope further and further
Yeah,
to keep that notoriety and press kind
Yeah.
of churning, right? Until you're a restaurant that works with Nordic ingredients in Los Angeles.
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
I'm
why it
known for
costs
Nordic
$1,500.
ingredients, so I'm bringing it to Los Angeles for what? Sponsors, whatever,
Sure.
whatever, that kind of a thing. But I think that there's a point where these things grow to an extent that they become caricatures of themselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well,
You do it good, and you can leave it there, right?
Yeah.
I think the constantly changing and semblance of evolving to make things different just to be different
Yeah.
starts to where things that has a high entropy.
yeah. Makes me want a bowl of pho.
Exactly.
Makes me want a fucking silky bowl of
I
perfect
thought it was
pho.
too filling. You ready again? It's been a few hours.
Yeah,
We've had two pho already. It's been a few hours. You're cooled off,
yeah.
right? You're ready to put that linen to the test again in the blazing hot streets of Saigon.
Yeah.
What are we going to get into tonight?
What I really want, I really want to do some broken rice dishes now.
Okay.
I'm ready for some like char grilled pork.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some pickled veg, and I'm ready. I love pho, but it is super filling. I don't know what it is about
Interesting.
liquid plus.
I don't find it so.
For me, liquid plus carb is like it's.
But the carb is like, I meant to look this up, like what the noodles are made from.
I thought you said it was like a rice paper plant.
I got to look at it. I know it's rice paper comes from a rice paper plant, not rice. I know that much.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's the same thing that
The noodles are made from?
of. Yeah.
Let's do a little research, and then tomorrow we'll be able to report on our dinner tonight. We'll be able to hopefully make more sense of all the fallen heroes. Remember Crocs? Remember that?
Let's not.
Remember that guy? I mean, what is he up to?
I don't know.
Gone. I know he was a creeper too, but gone. Man, who are the heroes that are left? Is what I'm saying. Who's left?
I was happy to see Pierre Kaufman's Instagram. He had like a restaurant called the Tante Claire in London.
Okay.
And it was like one of these books I had that I poured over as a child, and I was like always not a child, teeny, whatever.
Sure.
Young cook.
Yeah, impressionable young youth.
Impressionable young youth. And once how we started this conversation with like the trends started to take over.
Yeah.
Right. It was nice to see a classic chef still out there in the game. I remember we
Doing
had
the
this
old
pork trotter with like morels. And we didn't have social media back there. You had books. You just kind of look and pour and read through the books.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see he was still out there kicking. And maybe
Is
we'll
he?
see like
a
a resurgence of the
classic.
classics,
Yeah.
right? Those guys who just stayed in their lane and just kept going forward, you know?
I've been dying to go to Le Cuckoo for a long time, and
The cuckoo.
that's Daniel Rose's restaurant
Okay.
with Steven Starr up in New York. And
Didn't we?
I've never eaten there, and it's a beautiful place, and we worked with them for a long time.
Yeah.
But that's their thing, is like a throwback to the original French classics in
Love it.
in their absolute
You got to get back to the,
traditional.
once you start getting too wonky on the edges, you got to get back to what worked. The classics in all of their, not just French, but, get
Yes,
back. Right.
I agree. So, yeah, tonight we'll dive into more of the Vietnamese classics.
There we go.
And we'll light a little candle for the Noma people. I hope they can figure it out from here. I can only imagine being like the head chef, like the executive chef of.
You just keep pulling me back.
Pop-up.
Just keep pulling me back.
I can't imagine like the crown
I don't
jewel of your fucking life experience. I'm gonna fucking do this badass pop up in L.A. with all these guys, and it's just ruined
Yeah,
by this.
what do you
this
think
social media shitstorm?
What do you
Like,
think
dude,
what do you think how do you think the kitchen felt during those first days
it had
of
to be
service?
some of those most awkward services of all time. And dude, like even the people that go to eat at this thing, it's like you got to feel weird. I don't know, man.
Do people outside even necessarily know?
I
Because
wonder.
they went. You know what I mean?
wonder. Dude, there was protests outside.
All right.
It got fucking wild, man. And ultimately, like I said, I feel bad for the staff.
Of course.
Because a lot of those people
Know
probably-
your lines. Know your lines before
Yeah.
you get into these things, because you're gonna experience all forms of pressure from all kinds of different sides, and
Yeah.
you got to know when to pull the pin.
makes me want to just, have a this is where like
You ready for a cocktail yet? We're gonna go to that banana place. What's it called?
Yeah.
Banana something?
I'm ready. Yeah.
What's it called?
Monkey bar?
No, here, banana something.
I thought it was monkey bar. Or no, it was
Yeah,
banana
just
bar.
think of bananas.
Something like
Banana
that.
boat?
Anyway,
All right,
let's go
we'll
to the
report back.
cocktail
Let's
and
do it.
and decompress, man.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jersey Overseas, and ladies and gentlemen, come to you live from Saigon. We'll see you tomorrow.
Overseason Podcast was brought to you by Over Easy Office, outsourced bookkeeping solution.